Power doesn't begin with the body. It begins with the mind.
Flow like water. Adapt to every challenge. Fear nothing. Never stop learning. This wasn't just martial arts. It was a philosophy that inspired generations. Bruce Lee, be water.
Welcome to This Explainer, where we're going to dive straight into the profound mindset of an absolute legend. We're breaking down the fluid philosophy of Bruce Lee, a man who didn't just change martial arts forever, but cultivated a mindset that inspired millions and transcended his sport to make him a global cultural icon. So what made Bruce Lee truly unstoppable? Now, you might immediately assume it was all about his physical prowess, right? You're probably thinking of those lightning-fast punches, the gravity-defying kicks, or just his raw athletic power. And sure, growing up doing gritty, bare-knuckle rooftop fights in Hong Kong, he definitely possessed immense physical toughness. But the real answer to his unstoppable nature, it goes much, much deeper than anything you could simply see on the surface. Okay, let's dive into this. Bruce Lee actually believed his greatest weapon wasn't his body at all. While his physical weapons, the punches, the kicks, that blistering footwork, were undeniably impressive and, honestly, deeply feared by his opponents, he viewed the mind as the true ultimate weapon. Long before he was recognized as a massive cinematic star, he had already built a life philosophy anchored by relentless discipline, immense courage, and unwavering confidence. And the whole thing hinged on one simple, yet incredibly profound directive. Be water, my friend. Section 1. The power of water. The weapon of the mind. This central metaphor forms the foundation of his entire approach to life, and it's encapsulated perfectly in his most famous piece of wisdom. Empty your mind, be formless, shapeless, like water. Now, a lot of people back then, and even today really, just assume these were beautiful, poetic words thrown into a movie script. But Bruce meant something highly practical here. He was offering a very real blueprint for exactly how we should face the inevitable obstacles in our own paths. Just think about the actual mechanics of water for a second. Water never fights its environment. It doesn't get stubborn, and it never forces an unnatural path. Instead, it naturally adapts to obstacles. It just flows right around rocks. It effortlessly fills every single space it enters. And yet, when necessary, it can crash with unbelievable, overwhelming force. Bruce believed that fighters, and really just people in general, should live that exact same way. We shouldn't be rigid in our thinking, and we absolutely shouldn't fear constant change. And this brilliantly illustrates how he completely redefined flexibility. He saw it not as a mere physical trait or some sign of weakness where you're just yielding to a stronger opponent. No, he saw flexibility as the ultimate form of true strength. It's the mental ability to adapt, to intensely learn, and to grow stronger through literally every challenge you face. To him, a rigid tree branch is just going to snap in a harsh wind. But the flexible bamboo, it bends, it adapts, and it survives. Section 2. Overcoming fear. Preparation as the antidote. So how does this fluid mindset help us deal with something rigid and paralyzing like fear? Well, here's a vital truth Bruce deeply understood. Fear never completely disappears. He got this better than most, especially as an Asian man trying to break into a 1960s Hollywood system that was incredibly resistant to casting him as a leading man. He knew you couldn't just run from fear or pretend it didn't exist, because it's always going to be present in high-stakes situations. So instead of running, he chose to relentlessly prepare for it. His solution to that fear was profoundly simple. The more prepared you are, the calmer you become under pressure. So the crucial point here is that preparation is the true antidote. Every single hour of his legendary training, every grueling repetition, every intense challenge he put himself through, it was all deliberately designed to build the immense confidence he needed to face that inevitable fear head-on. By flowing like water, he accepted every single failure as a teacher. Think about it. When you fail, it naturally reveals a weakness, right? But rather than letting that rigid fear take over and paralyze you, you let that newly discovered weakness create an opportunity for growth. Take his famous devastating back injury in 1970. Doctors told him there was no way he'd ever practice martial arts again, but instead of giving up, he used that bedridden time to tirelessly write and develop the Tao of Jeet Kune Do. He took his absolute greatest physical weakness and let it flow into his ultimate written masterpiece. Every mistake is just data telling you where to flow next. Section 3. Discipline creates greatness, the power of consistency. But remaining adaptable and prepared requires an immense amount of foundational work, which brings us to his relentless discipline. Look at his incredible daily routine. He didn't just wait around for a sudden burst of motivation to strike before getting to work. Whether he felt exhausted or bursting with energy, his habits were completely untouched. He carried a small notepad literally everywhere to capture ideas. He intensely trained his body, studied endlessly, meticulously wrote notes on his theories, and constantly reflected on his own progress. He was aggressively searching for ways to become a better martial artist and a better human being every single day. It really all comes down to this. Small improvements, repeated every day, create extraordinary results. This shows us that his massive worldwide success was absolutely not a stroke of luck or mere genetic gifting. It was the direct result of pure, unwavering consistency over a lifetime. His intense discipline was, essentially, the sturdy riverbed that allowed his water to flow with such concentrated power. Section 4. The Lifelong Student. Confidence Through Learning. Let's shift gears and look at how he kept his mind shapeless by dedicating himself to being a lifelong student. Bruce Lee never believed he knew everything, not even close. Throughout his life, he amassed a massive personal library of over 2,500 books. Obviously, he studied traditional martial arts, but he also voraciously consumed knowledge on fitness, philosophy, psychology, and the intricate biomechanics of human movement. He constantly encouraged his own students to think independently, to ask difficult questions, to explore outside their comfort zones, and to keep learning across a huge variety of disciplines. This dynamic approach to education leads to what is arguably his most famous piece of practical advice. Absorb what is useful, reject what is useless, add what is specifically your own. This is exactly why he was so unstoppable in his personal evolution. He knew that the strongest fighter, or really the strongest person in general, is never the one who stubbornly clings to tradition, but the one who never stops growing. You take what works for you, let go of the rigid rules holding you back, and you aggressively forge your own unique path. Section 5. The Battle Within. Lessons for Everyday Life. Now, let's bring this all together and see how these lessons apply directly to our own lives. Bruce left behind this timeless checklist that applies way beyond the padded walls of a martial arts dojo. These rules are universally applicable to all of us. Don't compare yourself to others, only compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Respect your teachers, train and work with immense patience, stay humble in your victories, and fiercely control your emotions. The core takeaway here is that you absolutely must master your own mind before you can ever hope to master your opponent, your career, or any challenging circumstances you're facing. And this brilliantly illustrates why this matters for everyone watching this explainer right now. Ultimately, the hardest battle is often the one within yourself. Long before you face an external challenge at work, or in a difficult relationship, or in some physical pursuit, you first have to conquer your own rigid fears, your fragile ego, and your own lack of daily discipline. The external world is often just a reflection of that internal fight. Section 6. A Lasting Legacy, the Mindset of Water. As we conclude this explainer, let's look at the true legacy Bruce Lee left behind. His ultimate gift to the world wasn't just his breathtaking speed captured on camera, his blockbuster movies, or even the revolutionary martial art he created in Jeet Kune Do. No, his greatest legacy was this universal shared mindset: to stay humble, stay disciplined, keep fiercely learning, and never, ever stop adapting. It's a profound philosophy that continues to inspire athletes, entrepreneurs, and dreamers everywhere, half a century after he first shared it with the world. So, I will leave you with this final thought to consider. What rigid obstacles in your life are just waiting for you to become water? Consider that the next time you encounter a seemingly immovable challenge. Don't fight it with rigid force. Empty your mind, flow around the obstacle,
Bruce Lee
adapt,
once said,
and
"The successful warrior
be
is
water,
the
my
average
friend."
person with
Thank you
laser-like
so much
focus."
for joining me for this
The question
experiment,
is,
and keep
what will
learning.
you do with that inspiration today? If the story has valued you, turn over and lights to the channel.